Good morning, everyone. This is Cheryl here. I'm here to do a flip through of my, my completed ocean/mermaid journal, I should say. I actually did two. One was for a swap that I participated in, and this is the one that I did not send. So I'm doing a flip through of this one. I actually forgot. I was so excited to send my journal that I didn't even do a flip through of the other one. Do you believe that? I can't believe that I didn't do that, but I did it. But I have this one, and it's very similar on the inside. Not exactly, but you know, there's similarities because I was making them at the same time. So here on the top I have just a little writing, a mini writing journal, which I made out of a little paper lunch bag. And all I did was age it up, and this is the fold. This is the bottom of the bag. And so I decorated it, and you could tuck something in there. I did not tuck anything in there yet. I guess I could. Here is the opening of the lunch bag, and I have a little journal card that I put in there. Okay, so that's just a little add-on, and I sewed it together, you know, just like you would a journal, and added a piece of seam binding, and I'll put a little charm on there, and it's very cute. It would make a great little thing to send in a Happy Mail as well, but I made this to go along with this journal. Also, this is a pocket tag that I actually intended to put in the journal, but after I added this charm to it, this turtle, it was kind of, you know, going to make my journal gape open. So I'm sending it along with whoever gets this journal as an add-on. And it's just a window envelope that I covered and made into a pocket, and then just a little digital tag there, and she shows up through the window. I hope you can see that. So anyway, have those two things to go with this journal. So here is the journal cover, which is I used a book that I gutted the pages out of, and then I redid the spine. I redid it to make it larger, made a new spine for it, and I've used some vintage laces, and some I just made to look vintage. I think this piece here is vintage. It came from an old dress that I bought, and this is fabric that, you know, I aged up with, I coffee dyed it. And so then I have some corrugated cardboard, some brown paper, and a book page, and a digital, you know, and decorated. Up here in the corner, I've added a mermaid and a little, one of those little bottle charms that you can buy, and I put sand and a little teeny tiny shell in there, and tied it with some twine. So let's get into it. So many of the digitals in here, not all of them, but a good many, I did actually make myself on AI, just playing around, you know. But in the front, this is from a digital kit, the Nautical Digital Kit. It's called Nautical Digital Printables. A friend of mine made this one, and I have a big tag here that I made with another part of that Nautical Digital, just on brown paper with some graph paper, and I sewed around it and made it look old. Okay, this is a digital that I did create. I made a master board, and so throughout I've made some tags, you know, and journal cards with the master board. I have a lot of writing space in this journal and decorating space. So I've used brown packaging paper, book pages, and all kinds of things. This is a This is a altered paper clip. It's not a hidden paper clip, but it has a little pocket, and I have yet to put a little thingy in here and in here. It has two little pockets, and I've just tucked, you can tuck things in there and use it as a tuck spot on both sides. This is some blue paper that I actually dyed with butterfly PT flowers that I bought on Amazon. I boiled them, and they make this beautiful blue tea that is lovely to drink, but also you can dye papers and they will come out very blue if you dry them, if you air dry them. If you put them in the oven, it doesn't seem to work as well. But if you air dry them and maybe dip them twice, I usually dip them, let them dry, then dip them again and let them dry, and they come out this beautiful blue color. So here I have just another part of the digital that I used, some parchment paper, and this is just an envelope with a real postcard that was never written on. Oh my, I don't know why that happens. Okay, and I tore all the pages and inked all of them. And this was on the other side. This is a tag that I made from the digital. Here's a little flippy pocket with just a folded up piece of some kind of brown paper and a few little digital pieces. Actually, this is not a digital. This is a book page tag that is, I decoupaged, dry decoupaged a napkin onto it. A pretty sea napkin that I had in my stash. I did create this on AI. This was kind of a purpley, bluey kind of paper that someone sent me in a Happy Mail. And I made some clusters throughout. This is just an embossed index card. It's coffee dyed, embossed up here, and then it's just made to look like that. And I just thought it was pretty. Another one of my masterboard tags. I did create this digital. I created that one as well. If you can see this. This came from the digital. Isn't that pretty? Made some paper ruffles. This is the other part of that digital. Here I have attached, this is from the Graphics Fairy. This is a freebie from the Graphics Fairy that I made into this little flippy thing with a, I took tracing paper and coffee dyed it. And when you coffee dye tracing paper, it changes it into this very crinkly, lovely paper. And I made this little, it almost turns it into like a glassine. It just seems like almost like parchment or glassine. So I just made a little bag. This is one of my tags that I made from the masterboard, and this is another digital. So I stuck that in there and made that. Another one of the tags. I make these giant masterboards and I use them as a base. Sometimes I take pieces of the scrap papers from that and tear them and make so that some of the digital is actually on the masterboard, but not like a ton. But then I take the digital pieces or other things, other images as the focal point and make and create my tags. And that way I have a lot of tags created. They all look different, but I just made the masterboard one time. This is the other side of that little flippy thing with just a few pieces in there. And I tried to use laces that reminded me of the ocean, you know, like here in the front. This lace reminds me of shells, you know, starfish. Pieces of a digital that I made a collage, you know, all throughout. And this lace just reminded me of the ocean colors and just reminded me of the ocean, like coral or something you would see down under the sea. Here's a tag that I made of the captain of the ship. And I used part of a page, and then I printed him out and added a cluster. I stamped a little ship onto muslin. And so I just made this little tag. I really love these ocean journals. Made 2 of them. Here's a little flippy thing. And I did all kinds of things to get special effects on the pages. And to get this, to make it look, I don't know, mixed media kind of, what I did was I printed out the digital, and then on plain paper, and then I took just a little tiny spray bottle like this that you can get at the Dollar Tree, and it only sprays a little light mist. So I misted it with water, and the ink from this kind of bled through here and does this pretty effect on the paper, depending on, you know, what the digital looks like. So this is a little corner thing that I made. Or I don't know if I made this one or if someone we were making these, a couple of us, and so I think someone might have sent me that one. Lots of coffee dyed paper. This is a snippet roll on both sides. Oh, well, no, on one side. This is a snippet roll, and it's on top of wallpaper, a piece of oceany, luscious blue wallpaper. And I have it attached, but I put a pin on it to hold. I put this paper clip on because on the other side there's tags. Here is an ocean postcard and another tag that I made from the digital. And I decorated this with oceany colored fabrics and laces and appliques. And so see, this was supposed to be holding this tag. I did create this image with AI. You know, my first attempt at making some digital pieces. And in here I also have another tag that I made from the masterboard, and some parchment paper, or is it parchment paper? No, this is tracing paper that I watered down acrylic paint and painted it and let it dry, and it's like a blue glassine now. And another one of these little decorated index cards under here. So I thought this was pretty. And I made, this is a Mermaid wax seal. That's what that is. Here's another one of those little pockets, and this is a digital that I made into a journal card. A digital that I created, stamped on some muslin and made a little cluster. Here is that tracing paper that I painted with the watered down, almost like watercolor, watered down acrylic paint, and then I let it dry, and it dries and makes this crunchy, this wonderful crunchy, almost like parchment or whatever, and I made a little bag. I don't have anything in there, and I'm not sure why, but I decorated the bag. This is also a digital that I fussy cut her out, but she is also a digital that I created, digital page. I'll have to put something in there. This is just parchment paper. See, it's kind of the same. The tracing paper turns out kind of like the parchment paper. This is parchment paper that I was using, you know, when I would lay it down and do things like mixed media and things on it, and I saved it and I use it because it looks grungy. And here are just some on ATC card, a little postcard, and this was a masterboard, mixed media masterboard that I created and then copied it so that I could keep it, but copied it onto cardstock, and so I made it tag and has a ship on it. And I forget how I did this page, but you know, you can see I used texture paste and stamping and all kind watercolor and all kinds of fun things on there. And this is a digital that I created, and I aged it again by misting the back of it with a little bit of water and just leaving it sit, and some of the color bleeds through. But look at the aging that it does. If you, I don't know if the camera can pick it up or not, but it ages and it looks like this paper has been around forever. So it's just a writing space. I thought it would make a nice writing space. Okay, and this is stamping that I did with Versamark and some perfect pearl, not perfect pearls. What is it? It's not perfect pearls. It is Pearl X, the Pearl X mica powder. You stamp or stencil with Versamark, and then you dust with a soft brush. You use either the Pearl X or the perfect pearls, and then it leaves a sheen, and you brush the excess off. You let it dry. I sprayed it so it wouldn't smear. I sprayed it with Mod Podge sealing spray so that it would not smear off, because it just seems like if you rubbed it enough you could get some on your finger, but with this you don't. This is a envelope writing space. I forgot to ink that, so I will ink that. Isn't that pretty? And this is just a tall time card. This is another little digital, and I created the porthole as a digital, cut out the center, and I put the digital, the mermaid, inside the envelope, the CD envelope, to make it look like a little porthole, and then made it a little flip out. More of that pretty blue. Oh, such a pretty blue. Clusters. This is a pocket. I left this one. Here's a tag that I created from one of the digitals. And it just sits in there. Stamped, made clusters. Here's more of that napkin that I just decoupaged onto the back of this paper. A piece of it. The back of this digital. I hope you can see. It's getting this is kind of a fat journal, even though there's a lot of writing space in it. It's kind of fat, and I did all kinds of, used oxides and stuff to make the papers, and coffee, to make the papers look aged. This is an ATC mixed media. It has texture paste, distress ink, not distress ink, gesso, and distress glitter. Tim Holtz distress glitter from, I guess, a while back. I haven't seen that lately, but I still have a lot of it. And so I made that little ATC card. This is a master board that again I copied, and this time I copied it onto vellum to make it more, I don't know, see-through-y. Packaging makes great pages. Coffee dyed paper. That pretty blue paper. Graph paper. I did some ruffle, lace ruffle. Here's a pocket with a cluster, just a book page pocket, and a little digital that I just sewed on it to add a little something something. This is a fabric tag, and I thought this fabric looked like shells, and I had made this tag base a while back, and it's backed with parchment, and then I just added this little shell because I just thought it looked good on there. This is a large tag that I made, and this is Stamperia paper here, and I just made a tag and put it on top of this big tag, and so there you go. This is an image that I did with AI, a mermaid with the ship in the background. I love it. This is an image that I did with AI. Looks like the mermaid is diving into the wave. You don't see her head, you just see her tail. This is a window. It's got vellum. This digital is printed on vellum, and then I cut it and made a frame, and with another piece of the digital that I printed onto cardstock and made like a frame, and it looks like water. It's hard to see on camera. It's really hard to see some things, but anyway, this is another one of those paper clips, and I still don't have little tiny tags in there, which I am going to put them in there because this is just fabulous. This is just little pockets. And the other side of that master board that I copied onto vellum. Here's another one of those envelope pocket flippies that I just used my master board to make this little tag. Just writing space. This is just, isn't this pretty? This is from another Stamperia paper pack. It was actually from the Woodland one, I think. And it had this fish paper in there, double-sided paper, and I just thought it made a great little addition to this journal. And then in the back I just used some kind of flag paper from a book underneath here, and then I put a piece of digital on it. So there's the journal. She's very luscious and very yummy and fat and full of writing space as well as pretty things you can add to this journal. And I have some beads, blue and pearl beads attached at the bottom. I put a hole here. You can attach a tassel. I may even make a tassel yet for this one. It looks like it could use a fluffy tassel, but I wanted to show you the journal. And here's my pocket tag, which would go with this journal, and also this little paper bag mini journal, I'm calling it. So there it is, and I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. I'm going to add a few little pieces in here to like the little paper clips and that kind of thing. But anyway, this journal is basically finished except for those little finishing touches, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.